Dear viewers, welcome to our channel. Subscribe to receive more stories every day. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as lawyers shuffled papers and the judge adjusted his robe. On one side of the room stood Ethan Carter, the powerful CEO of a tech empire, known for his ruthless ambition and meticulously crafted public image. His tailored suit and calm demeanor radiated confidence. On the other side sat Mia, a woman of quiet strength, dressed simply but with an unmistakable dignity. Between them, at the heart of the battle, was a young boy named Aaron, quietly clutching the armrest of his wheelchair. For years, Ethan had denied Aaron's existence. Born with a rare neurological condition, Aaron was labeled by Ethan as an embarrassment, a liability to his carefully curated reputation. Mia, left alone to raise Aaron, had endured a life of financial struggles, working multiple jobs to provide for her son's medical needs. She often marveled at Aaron's resilience, his ability to smile despite the challenges he faced. Her love for him was fierce and unwavering. Ethan had ignored them completely, erasing Aaron from his life like a stain on his legacy. That was until Mia's tragic car accident left Aaron without a legal guardian. In a calculated move, Ethan petitioned for full custody, painting himself as a concerned father eager to reunite with his son. The media lapped up his story, depicting Ethan as a man of integrity, willing to make amends. Behind closed doors, however, his motives were anything but noble. Mia's best friend, Emily, sat beside Aaron, squeezing his hand as they waited for the judge to arrive. Emily had taken Aaron in after Mia's death and vowed to protect him from Ethan's grasp. But Ethan's legal team was formidable, and his resources seemed limitless. Emily feared they would spin a narrative so polished that the truth would be buried under layers of lies. When the judge entered, the room fell silent. Judge Harrington, a sharp-eyed woman with decades of experience, commanded respect with her presence. She surveyed the room, her gaze lingering on Ethan before settling on Aaron. "We are here to determine the custody of Aaron Carter," Judge Harrington announced. "This court will decide what is in the best interest of the child." Ethan's lawyer, a man with a slick demeanor named Charles Whitman, rose to speak. His opening statement painted Ethan as a devoted father who had been cruelly kept away from his son by circumstances beyond his control. He spoke of Ethan's desire to provide Aaron with the best care, education, and opportunities money could buy. His words were smooth, rehearsed, and utterly devoid of sincerity. When it was Emily's turn to respond, her lawyer, a young but fiery woman named Clara Navarro, stood. "Your Honor," Clara began, her voice steady and firm, "Ethan Carter has never been a part of Aaron's life. He denied his son's existence from the day he was born. This sudden interest in custody is not born out of love but out of self-interest." The courtroom murmured, but Ethan's expression remained impassive. He knew how to mask his emotions, how to project an image of calm authority. It was a skill that had served him well in business, and he expected it to serve him here too. As the hearing progressed, witnesses were called. Emily testified about Mia's struggles and Ethan's complete absence. She described how Mia had begged Ethan for help when Aaron's medical bills piled up, only to be met with cold indifference. Clara presented records of emails and messages from Mia to Ethan, all unanswered. When it was Ethan's turn to testify, he played his part masterfully. He spoke of regret, of wanting to make things right. "I've made mistakes," he admitted, his voice carefully measured. "But I want to be there for my son now. I want to give him the life he deserves." Judge Harrington listened intently, her expression unreadable. Ethan's words might have swayed some, but Clara wasn't done. She had one more card to play. "Your Honor," Clara said, "we have evidence that Ethan Carter's sudden interest in custody may be less about reuniting with his son and more about personal gain. We request permission to introduce new evidence." Ethan's lawyer objected, but Judge Harrington allowed it. Clara handed a file to the court clerk, who passed it to the judge. "These are financial documents," Clara explained, proving that Mr. Carter's company is facing a significant lawsuit. The negative press has damaged his public image, and he believes gaining custody of Erin will help restore his reputation. The courtroom erupted in whispers. Ethan's confident facade cracked for a moment, his jaw tightening as he glared at Clara. The judge called for order and examined the documents. Ethan's lawyer scrambled to object, but the damage was done. As the first day of the hearing ended, Emily and Clara felt a flicker of hope. But they knew this was just the beginning. Ethan was a man used to winning, and he wouldn't go down without a fight. The second day of the hearing began with a tension so thick it hung in the air like a storm cloud. Ethan arrived flanked by his team of lawyers, their sharp suits and sharper gazes a testament to the lengths they were willing to go to secure a win. Emily sat with Clara, who was meticulously reviewing her notes, preparing for the next round of testimonies. Erin, sitting quietly in his wheelchair, seemed oblivious to the chaos around him. His attention fixed on a small sketchpad where he doodled simple shapes. Judge Harrington entered the courtroom promptly at 9 a.m., her no-nonsense demeanor setting the tone for what would be a critical day. Clara wasted no time calling her first witness, Dr. Melanie Carter, Erin's pediatric neurologist. Dr. Carter, Clara began. Can you describe Erin's medical condition and the level of care he requires? Dr. Carter nodded. Erin has a rare form of muscular dystrophy that affects his mobility and overall muscle strength. He requires daily therapy, specialized equipment, and consistent medical monitoring. His care is demanding, but with the right support, Erin can lead a fulfilling life. Has Mr. Ethan Carter ever participated in Erin's care or contributed to his medical expenses? Clara asked. Dr. Carter glanced at Ethan before answering. Oh, in my years treating Erin, I've never seen Mr. Carter at an appointment or involved in any aspect of his care. Clara pressed further. In your professional opinion, would someone with no prior experience or understanding of Erin's needs be able to provide adequate care? It would be extremely challenging, Dr. Carter replied. Erin's care requires a deep understanding of his condition, as well as emotional and physical dedication. Ethan's lawyer attempted to discredit Dr. Carter's testimony, implying bias due to her long-standing relationship with Mia and Emily. But the doctor held firm, her responses measured and factual. Next, Clara introduced emails sent by Mia to Ethan over the years, each one a plea for financial assistance. They were read aloud in court, the words stark and heartbreaking. Ethan, Erin's medical bills are piling up. Please, he's your son too. Ethan, I don't need anything for myself. I just need help for Erin. He deserves a chance. Each email was met with silence from Ethan's side. Clara let the weight of those words hang in the air before asking Mr. Carter, why did you never respond to these messages? Ethan's face was a mask of controlled anger. I didn't believe they were genuine, he said smoothly. I had reason to believe Mia was exaggerating the situation to manipulate me. The room murmured in disbelief, but Clara remained calm. And yet, you never verified her claims. You never once checked on Erin to see if he needed help. Ethan's lawyer quickly objected, claiming the question was argumentative, but the damage was done. Ethan's image of a remorseful father was beginning to crumble. Then came the most anticipated testimony of the day. Ethan himself. As he took the stand, he adjusted his tie and exhaled, adopting the carefully crafted persona of a man burdened by guilt. I made mistakes, Ethan began, his voice heavy with feigned remorse. I was young, ambitious, and I didn't know how to handle the situation. I regret not being there for Erin, but I want to make amends. I want to provide him with the best life possible. Clara didn't flinch. When it was her turn to cross-examine, she approached Ethan with the precision of a surgeon. Mr. Carter, you claim to want what's best for Erin now, but your financial records show a different story. Would you like to explain why you attempted to liquidate a portion of your company's shares shortly after filing for custody? Ethan's jaw tightened. That's irrelevant, he said curtly. I disagree, Clara countered. It shows a pattern of behavior, one where your financial interests take precedence over your personal responsibilities. Tell me, Mr. Carter, Is it a coincidence that your sudden interest in Aaron aligns with the decline of your company's public image? Ethan's lawyer objected, but Judge Harrington allowed the question. Ethan's silence was deafening. The final bombshell of the day came when Clara introduced a recorded phone call between Ethan and his publicist. In it, Ethan could be heard discussing how gaining custody of Aaron would improve his reputation and potentially help secure investors. The courtroom gasped as the audio played, Ethan's calculated words shattering any illusion of sincerity. By the time the recording ended, Ethan's previously unshakable confidence had visibly eroded. He glared at Clara, his fists clenched, but she remained unfazed. As the court adjourned for the day, Emily hugged Aaron tightly, whispering words of encouragement. "You're so brave," she told him. "We'll get through this." Meanwhile, Ethan stormed out of the courtroom, his lawyers trailing behind him. Outside, reporters swarmed, shouting questions about the explosive revelations. Ethan ignored them, his carefully crafted public image now a fragile facade on the verge of collapse. But Clara and Emily knew the fight wasn't over. Ethan was a man used to winning, and they braced themselves for whatever he might throw at them next. The courtroom was electric with anticipation as the final day of the custody hearing began. The media frenzy surrounding Ethan Carter's high-profile battle had grown to a fever pitch. Outside, reporters lined the steps, while inside, spectators packed the gallery, eager to witness what many predicted would be the downfall of one of the most powerful CEOs in the country. Aaron sat quietly in his wheelchair, sketchpad on his lap, as Emily adjusted his jacket. Clara Navarro, their relentless attorney, had spent the night preparing for what she called the closing act. Today, she planned to present the evidence that would destroy Ethan's case once and for all. Ethan entered the courtroom with his usual entourage, but gone was the calm confidence he had displayed at the start of the hearing. His jaw was tight, his eyes darting to the judge, Clara, and even Aaron, as if searching for a way out of the corner he'd been backed into. Judge Harrington took her seat, her expression as unreadable as ever. She gestured to Clara. "Ms. Navarro, you may proceed with your next witness." Clara rose, a steely determination in her posture. "Your Honor, I would like to call Emily Jacobs to the stand." Emily walked to the witness box, her steps measured but purposeful. Once sworn in, Clara began her questioning. "Ms. Jacobs, you were one of Mia Carter's closest friends, is that correct?" "Yes," Emily replied. "We were like sisters." "And can you describe the role you played in Aaron's life after Mia's passing?" Emily's voice trembled slightly as she spoke. "I became his guardian. I've cared for him, taken him to his medical appointments, and made sure he has everything he needs. Aaron is like a son to me." Clara nodded. "And did Mia ever discuss Ethan's involvement in Aaron's life with you?" Emily's face hardened. "Many times. She told me how Ethan refused to acknowledge Aaron, how he ignored her pleas for help. She was heartbroken, but she never gave up on Aaron. She made sure he knew he was loved, even if his father didn't want him." Ethan's lawyer objected, claiming hearsay, but Judge Harrington allowed Emily's testimony to continue. Clara approached the bench, her tone calm but sharp. "Ms. Jacobs, is it true that Mia left behind a journal?" "Yes," Emily confirmed. "She wrote in it every day." "Your Honor," Clara said, holding up a leather-bound book. "This is Mia Carter's journal. In it, she documented her struggles, her love for Aaron, and her repeated attempts to reach out to Ethan. With the court's permission, I'd like to read an excerpt." The judge nodded, and the courtroom fell silent as Clara opened the journal to a marked page. "Today I called Ethan again. Aaron's medical bills are piling up, and I don't know how I'll pay them. I begged him to help, but he hung up on me. I don't understand how someone can turn their back on their own child. Aaron deserves so much better." The words hung in the air like a heavy cloud. Even Ethan couldn't hide the flicker of discomfort that crossed his face. "Thank you, Ms. Jacobs," Clara said, her voice steady. "No further questions." Emily stepped down, and Ethan's lawyer, Charles Whitman, called his final witness, Ethan himself. As he took the stand, the tension in the room reached its peak. "Mr. Carter," Whitman began, "can you explain why you chose to seek custody of Aaron now, after so many years?" Ethan leaned forward, clasping his hands. "I realized I made a mistake. I've been so focused on my career that I neglected my responsibilities as a father. I want to make things right." Whitman nodded sympathetically. "And what would you say to those who claim you're only doing this for personal gain?" Ethan sighed, his expression pained. "I understand why they might think that, but it's not true. I love my son, and I want to give him the life he deserves." When it was Clara's turn to cross-examine, she approached Ethan with a quiet intensity. "Mr. Carter, you claim you want to give Aaron the life he deserves. Can you tell the court what Aaron's favorite color is?" Ethan blinked, caught off guard. I'm not sure. What about his favorite book? Or his favorite food?" Clara pressed. Ethan shifted uncomfortably. "I don't know." Clara stepped closer. "Do you know the name of Aaron's neurologist? Or the type of therapy he requires?" Ethan's silence spoke volumes. Clara turned to the judge. "Your Honor, this is a man who claims to love his son, yet he knows nothing about him. His sudden interest in Aaron has nothing to do with love and everything to do with salvaging his reputation." Ethan's lawyer objected, but Judge Harrington allowed Clara to continue. "Your Honor," Clara said, her voice rising, "I have one final piece of evidence to present. This is a letter written by Mia Carter, addressed to Aaron. It was found among her belongings after her death." Clara unfolded the letter and began to read. "My dearest Aaron, I'm so sorry I couldn't give you the life you deserve. But I want you to know how much I love you and how proud I am of you. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. Never let anyone make you feel like you're not enough, because you are more than enough. You are my hero." The courtroom was silent except for the sound of stifled sobs. Aaron's eyes glistened as he looked at Clara, his small hands clutching the arms of his wheelchair. Clara turned to the judge. "Your Honor, Aaron deserves to stay with the people who have always loved and cared for him. He deserves stability, not empty promises from a man who abandoned him." When the judge finally spoke, her words were clear and decisive. "Custody of Aaron Carter is awarded to Emily Jacobs. Furthermore, I am ordering Ethan Carter to pay substantial damages for years of neglect and financial hardship." The courtroom erupted. Ethan slumped in his chair, his empire of lies crumbling around him. Clara hugged Emily and Aaron, tears streaming down their faces. As they left the courtroom, the reporters clamored for comments, but Clara shielded Aaron from the chaos. This was their moment, one of justice, love, and triumph. And as they drove away, Aaron looked out the window, a small smile on his face. For the first time in his life, he felt safe. Dear viewers, thank you for watching. If you like this story, please subscribe to our channel to receive more stories every day. Share with us what you think of this story and tell us where you're watching from.